I took one attitude from the Chaos Magic School of Thought, which not everyone takes all that seriously from them, and applied that to my own personal practices. And that is to be able to steal ideas from other individuals or schools of thought without necessarily having to follow the party line, shall we say, in terms of what they think and in terms of what their attitudes are. And I have developed some interest in what Charles Guzmanio was saying in some of his videos. Obviously, the attitude was slightly different to mine, but on the other hand, it's worthwhile thinking about one or two particular things that is said by somebody else. So I've got this thing on the floor in front of me, this object, which, if legend is accurate, could be used as a powerful tool for something strange. Sorry, I can't put on the act too much. Anyway, here it is. A little pocket torch. Quite bright. LEDs, metal shaft, purchased in a budget shop for less than £5, probably closes about £1.99 or something silly. Works on 3 AAA batteries, quite efficient, and that's it. Now, what Charles Guzmanio suggested was 2 different uses for, well, actually many more than 2 uses for a torch within his little occultic practices. One of the early ones he mentioned was to place a witness sample in an area, namely something which represents the person you're trying to affect, and shining the light on them, and then doing your meditation deeply and directing thought and intention to them. Okay, one of his videos suggests making somebody have a car crash, you thinking evil intentions to them, although I don't quite know how efficient that would be in terms of actually, well, whatever, it's just like one of his points of view. And the second one is to use a larger torch, which you can stand upright. And I've got a few of those, basically old head torches, which were again dirt cheap, which have a larger area, and you can then put an acetate or something on top, which would represent your intention, and then on top of that, a photograph or witness sample of the person you're trying to affect. Now, when he mentioned it in one of his videos, it seems a little bit, shall we say, Blue Peter-esque, which is question, take your little torch and do this with it and do that with it, and then it'll happen, sort of thing. A little simplistic. He also mentioned the use of the torch like a wand to direct it at some kind of evil spirit and entity whilst directing your intention against it and banishing, or using it in circle casting, which I thought was quite fun. Essentially, the torch replaces a wand. In some of the Chaos Magic books by, I think it was Peter J. Carroll, he suggested having something which you can take with you and treat as if it was a magic wand. One of my friends from many years ago actually had an old gnarled walking stick which he would carry around with him, and it was said that if you're lodging in a place, you don't have to have it on your person, but you have to take it with you when you leave the building and carry on doing that for a while. I can only assume that that's just to build up your psychological connection with the object. So if you've got something small and portable and no one knows you've got it on you, like a torch, which is tiny and small but still bright and powerful, then that would actually sort of work quite nicely, wouldn't it? Now, I tried an experiment last night, because, like, if you think about it, you go into your traditional New Age shop, right? They don't have magical wands or Wiccan supplies which look like this, do they? No, the kind of stuff they got there, it's got like colours painted on it, or little feathers from birds and symbols of nature and pentagrams and crystals and all the various associated metals which some people believe are associated with like the energy of what it is they're trying to achieve, and I am Mr. Gandalf kind of like fucked up shit, but not necessarily something that looks like this. I'd never tried doing anything even remotely ritualistic with a torch before. But of course, when I was going through the whole Wiccan, pagan community, we always did the circle casting. Okay? And if you do it right, when it's the end of the day, and you're halfway between waking and sleeping anyway, you're exhausted, you occasionally feel that there is something has happened. You feel this sense of calm. You feel that sense of like a curtain closing around you, don't you? Okay, if you're in the right sort of like exhausted and super sensitive state of mind, which is what you end up in after a long day, or if you're a student, if you've had far too much caffeine and nicotine during the day in order to try and help you to, function so you can write your essay, or, cram for your exam because you didn't cram for because you spent all your time on the beer and on the marijuana. But which I wouldn't recommend anyone do ever. Okay, just stick with your studies. It's better for you to study and go to class and be a good boy or girl. Okay, just do it. And I guess my point is that exhaustion provides you with a certain level of sensitivity. So I tried using this to do my circle casting. My room in general has got a lot of white walls, so you can see the light against it quite well. And so it's easier for you to have a certain level of connection with the idea that you are projecting a beam of light around you in your visualization. And because it's small, you can just sort of like hold it between your fingers if you want when you're doing that kind of stuff. So I thought, okay, give that a go, see how I feel afterwards. And it was interesting. Okay, a lot of the energetic experiences you get aren't necessarily all that bam, they aren't all that in your face. You don't sort of see that some kind of like weird skull jumping out at you and all that kind of shit. No, it's more of a subtle feeling and sensation, which you occasionally perceive in a state of sensitivity or exhaustion. But this time, I went to bed and I did a little, very basic circle casting, drawing a line of light around myself 3 times with a torch around my bed. And when I turned the torch off, turned all the lights off, and curled up in bed, I felt the same kind of calm, and the same kind of peace, and the same kind of isolation from the rest of the world, and feeling secure and non-threatened, and able to focus on other things, and to be in a concentrated, relaxed state. And even like with my eyes closed, I could I want to use the word physically, but that's the wrong word, but I could sense energetically the ring of light around the body, around the bed, within the room. So, although I think that Charles Guzmanio has marketed himself very well through promoting this dark and devilish, demonic type attitude, he's got these occasional fun ideas, which I would recommend that anyone could use. I mean, the whole superstition of you have to have this in your pocket all the time, or have to have it on you all the time when you leave the house, is obviously a bit of an exaggeration. I think that the idea is that you do something to make you feel a connection with it. I mean, if this gets lost or broken, it isn't a major loss. You just get yourself another cheap torch from, the B&M stores or the pound shop or whatever, and you use that, and you just carry on building up your association and connection with it through using it a lot or having it on your person an awful lot, and that makes it feel like it's yours, an extension of you, just like everything else. Okay? When there was one guy who survived the Holocaust, he said that when he went to the extermination camp, everything was taken from them. And he said that when things were taken from him, that's when he really understood what it meant by extermination, because the things that you've got to define you, they become sort of part of you. When you lose everything, okay, then you're kind of like losing a sense of self to a certain degree. So if you put something into your energy space, into who you are and what you are, without letting anyone else know, it just slides into the pocket or, whatever, some non-bulky, non-intrusive manner. Just a part of your standard day-to-day, everyday carry objects. It can then become a part of you. It's, it's connected to you. But you also got extra automatic symbolic stuff, a cylinder of metal around it. Again, another fun idea from Charles Guzmanio would be to use a cylinder of cardboard sticky taped onto a lamp, and a crocodile clip connected to that cardboard tube, which is lined with aluminium foil. And you then connect that to a headband, so you've got a wire from your forehead essentially going down to this cylinder of cardboard with some aluminium foil on the inside of it. The idea then is you're you've got something to help you to believe you're sending your intention through the beam of light, because he was a strong believer that light can carry intention and information to your witness sample of who you're trying to affect positively. Now, it's just like piggyback, shall we say, the use of words of Eric Hunter, who wrote the Pendulum Healing book, who also suggested that when you're using your pendulum and you're swinging it, you're making a cone-like shape over your witness sample. Okay, and this makes a cone-like shape as well when you shine it down, a cone of light. Something to help you focus your intention. So maybe this is also, and this is just me speaking hypothetically, I'm not telling you that that you can transform the world or cure all diseases from this, or whatever, but maybe this is also, in some strange, meditative, slightly religious way, a tool of distance healing. Think about it. You've got your friend. They're very unwell. They've got something wrong with them, okay? You take a piece of card. You write on it their first name and their date of birth, maybe, or their first name and where they live, or just things which connect you to them. Spend a bit of time in meditation. Build up your aura, your energy field for a while, okay? Then when you're at the right points, maybe you've done some chakra opening, and you've done your middle pillar, and you're feeling full of the energy of the universe because you've used the mantra, I'm drawing the energy of the universe into me. And you take a cheap cylinder of metal, which you've had in your pocket pretty much every single day for a while, shine it down on this piece of paper or piece of card, which has their details on it. And you send love, and you send healing, and you send good intentions and the words used by Eric Hunter to that person in that way. Maybe you keep up the concentration, the energy for a while, the building up of the loving energy for maybe 20 minutes or so. Okay, sending those intentions, banishing disease, stimulating the will to live, stimulating the will for healing, banishing negativity, banishing toxicity, making a whole list of all the things you want taken away and all the good things you want brought in and in and in. And basically praying through a beam of light to that name, to that piece of paper, knowing that that's a representation of the person you're trying to heal, using your intention and attention to the best of your ability for that time period. I'm just speaking hypothetically here, but it's something else to just play with. Not trying to give someone a car crash, but trying to give someone a good time, happiness, relief from some disease, boosting of the immune system, the ability to absorb vitamins and minerals better into their body. It's a curiosity, isn't it? And on top of that, it looks normal. You don't have to paint pentagrams on it or magical symbols. It's just I just like to carry a torch with me in case, That's all. Just carrying a torch with me in case. Maybe you got yourself a few acetates and a slightly larger torch which shines upwards, which you could then write radionic codes or numbers on. Alright, with a few extra things just to, symbolize what you're trying to do. And then you can send that going. And then once you finish your 20 minutes of concentration, you leave it running until the battery's around. As if that's going to carry on, even without you focusing on it. Just going to carry on doing it. Okay? And with you trying to lose all sense of emotional connection to the result, because you've got a machine kind of thing, a torch which is doing it for you, a flashlight doing it for you whilst you're away and doing other things. So my recommendation to you is to take about between £1 and £5 maybe, and go down to a budget shop or a pound shop and buy yourself a cheap torch, a cheap flashlight. I don't think there are any real rules over what it's supposed to look like or be made from. But maybe one which is based upon a cylinder of metal is better. Maybe it isn't. I don't think we can ever say to be sure. But it's a fun thing to play around with. And for those of you out there who are doing like more the Wiccan thing or the High Magic thing or the Golden Dawn type thing, and you're drawing your pentagrams, maybe just make a bit of sense to, get yourself a torch. Or maybe a laser pointer. Maybe a laser pointer would be even more cool. Okay? I don't know. Play with it.